we will broadcast for you the news in English on Radio Free Syria.
Welcome to our news hour in English. I am MarwanKADRO and I will be with you during this news hour from Radio Free Syria. We will start with Aleppo. In Aleppo, heavy shelling on Al-Mashhad neighborhood in Aleppo yesterday afternoon using big missiles, which resulted in the death of dozens of people and injured more than 30 people. Activists added that the missiles had exploded in front of a restaurant, which resulted in the death of the whole crew of the restaurant. Moreover, heavy battles between the FSA and the Assad forces near the neighborhood of Bastan al-Basha. Renewed shelling on the neighborhood of Sahur. Activists said that it resulted in the destruction of several home buildings. Heavy shelling was also on the neighborhood of Qabr al-Jabal. Meanwhile, in the countryside of Aleppo, heavy shelling from the tanks of the Assad forces that are located in Kuwaris military airport. They have shelled villages of Deir Hafer and Mara. Until now, the people of Mara are suffering due to the miserable conditions that they are living in. We will move to the capital, Damascus. Heavy battles between the FSA and the Assad forces in the neighborhood of Jober as the renewed shelling continued on the southern neighborhoods of the capital. Heavy bombardments also on Mu'addamit al-Sham and Daraya and the western area of Damascus suburbs. Meanwhile, in Harasta, heavy battles between the Free Syrian Army and the Assad forces continued. Moreover, harassments continues in the city of Al-Miliha as the Assad forces have kidnapped more than 50 men, among with heavy bombardments on the city of Al-Miliha. In Barza, activists said that there was a huge explosion in a social building where Assad forces gathered together. In Yarmouk refugee camp, there were heavy battles between the Free Syrian Army and the Assad forces as the Assad forces have shelled the neighborhood of Hajar al-Aswad by using rocket launchers. Moving to the northeastern side of Syria, to the province of Al-Hasaka, the forces of the PKK, which are an ally to the regime of Assad, along with the gang members of Al-Rasho, are surrounding the village of Al-Matalla in the eastern side of Ras Al-Ain. They are shelling the village that is near to the Turkish border using Doshka machine guns. The people there are trying to flee to Turkey as they couldn't flee to Turkey due to the siegement of the village. A civilian has been killed after his car was hit by PKK members near the checkpoint of Tel Beidan, after their car was hit with bullets. Moving to the central of Syria, in Homs, the besieged neighborhoods are still under heavy shelling for more than 7 months now. The Assad forces are using heavy artillery and mortars and tanks and rocket launchers. The neighborhoods of Homs are more likely destroyed for more than 90%. The people there are suffering as there is no food, bread, electricity, or clean water. Moreover, the winter has come and they are in need of thicker clothes to be able to survive this cold winter. Meanwhile, several neighborhoods of Homs have been under heavy shelling, and especially in Al-Khaldiya and the old neighborhoods of Homs, as massive explosions have been heard in other areas of the city. Moving to the countryside of Homs. Heavy shelling continued also there as the Assad forces are using all kinds of weapons. Moreover, the humanitarian situation is very bad as there are no medicines and there is no fuel to keep them warm in this cold winter. Heavy shelling on the village of Al-Sain, which resulted in the death of several people. In the city of Hola, heavy bombardments from Fazlika machines as it was raining heavily there. The people are suffering due to the cold winter. In Idlib, more than 60 soldiers have defected from the Assad regime as they were at several checkpoints of the Assad forces in the countryside of Italy. Meanwhile, the Assad forces have entered the city of Al-Mastuma as they have burned homes of civilians. The FSA have stopped the Assad forces of moving more forward as they have killed many Assad soldiers in the same village. Heavy shelling on the city of Taftanaz by Assad tanks that are located in Taftanaz military airport as heavy battles are going on between the FSA and the Assad forces. And in Kafr Takharim, the whole of sports have collapsed due to the heavy shelling that have hit the village of Kafr Takharim. The FSA declared they have dropped down a MiG airstrike force that was flying above the airport of Taftanaz. In Hama, the Assad forces have spread rocket launches around the city of Taibat al-Imam as heavy battles continued between the Free Syrian Army and the Assad forces as they have stopped the Assad forces of entering the village of Al-Mashayj. Heavy shelling also on Karnas and Halfaya and the village of Aqrab, which resulted in the death of many civilians. In Daraa, 2 people have killed and 2 others have been injured as the Assad soldiers have hit a car on Al-Ghariya checkpoint in the western area of Daraa. Moreover, in Nahta, a man was found dead and others injured due to the heavy shelling on the village. Heavy bombardments also on Al-Man and Al-Harak and Nusr al-Harir. Meanwhile, in Qarfa, Assad gang members have arrested civilians from their homes. In Al-Raqqa, 10 people have been killed and more than 20 people have been injured as several areas of the refugee camp and Tel Abyad was found in fire. Meanwhile, the Free Syrian Army declared that they have liberated the checkpoint of Ain Isa after heavy battles between the FSA and the Assad forces. Moreover, activists said that the Free Syrian Army have taken control of all the oil fields in Al-Raqqa. In Deir ez-Zor, heavy battles between the Free Syrian Army and the Assad forces near the intelligence service building as the rebels were able to destroy a tank and kill all of its crew. Heavy battles also between the Free Syrian Army and the Assad forces in several areas of the city as the countryside of Deir ez-Zor was under heavy shelling from warplanes which resulted in the death of civilians. This was it for today. Thank you very much for listening. I am MarwanKADRO from Radio Free Syria. Along with me, Executive Manager Islam al-Idilbi. Please follow us on freesyriaradio.webs.com. You can also reach us through Skype on Syrian-Free42. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Right now, we will broadcast for you the news in English on Radio Free Syria.